Kieran Trippier captains England at St James's Park to a 3-0 win. It looks like Lloyd Kelly is set to join Newcastle United as their first signing of the summer very, very soon. And Newcastle have officially announced their official shirt retailer, JD Sports. That's right, Mike Ashley will not be selling the shirt in Soccer Sports this for years to come, by the sounds of things. Welcome back to Toon Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news on this minging day. It's quite warm. But it keeps belting it down with rain, so we're hiding here, popped out for 5 minutes, talking to you guys. If you are not subscribed to the channel already, be sure to do so. I do these Toon Tuesdays videos every week with the most up-to-date news on Newcastle United. In fairness, I'm posting pretty much every day at the moment, despite the fact that the season's over, there's no football on, there is always plenty to talk about. I say no football. We did play at St James's Park last night. Let me know down in the comments if you went along to the England game. I'll be honest, I didn't. I've been all over the shop this weekend. Now, it was my birthday on Friday. I was away at a wedding over the weekend. Got back yesterday and just there wasn't time for it. In fairness, it wasn't particularly cheap. Trippier obviously captained the side, so very excited to see that. But pretty gutted that Gordon didn't actually play. It's being said that Gordon was actually injured, which is why he was unable to feature despite being involved in Gareth Southgate's preliminary Euro squad. If we're honest, there was quite a few players missing in that team, and we did make hard work of the game. It was 3-0 win. We did start off slow. We did score the goals in the second half. There was something to cheer about. Gordon was there, spotted yawning in the crowd. So yeah, if you were there, I'd love to know your thoughts on it down below, what the atmosphere was like. It didn't seem to be probably as rowdy as you'd expect for a normal Newcastle game, but then again, that's probably what I thought it would have been like. It's a shame that Gareth Southgate doesn't just let the shackles off and go for it. You know, against Bosnia-Herzegovina team who isn't great. You know, we should have really steamrolled them, but that isn't the way. And that's probably not the way we're going to see it this Euros. I think it's very questionable that there's no left-backs in the whole squad. You know, maybe I'm throwing one out there, but Lewis Hall, anyone? You know, we're playing in Newcastle. He literally lives around the corner. Just throw the man a shirt and let him have a go. But yes, the worldy build up to the Euros. I will probably cover some Euros on this channel, although not loads in the past. I mean, years and years ago on YouTube, all the content was great. Whereas these days, from a Newcastle channel to cover other stuff doesn't necessarily translate. So we'll see how we get on. But other than England, Newcastle have got some big fish to fry. As reported by Fabrizio Romano, it looks like Newcastle are very, very close to bringing in that first signing of the summer, Lloyd Kelly. It's been talked about a fair bit, obviously, that Newcastle were very much in for 2 players this summer window to get the when does the window open? Is it this weekend? Next weekend? It's very, very soon. Yeah, officially opens. Obviously on a free transfer. Technically speaking, we can be getting deals done beforehand, depending on when their contract ends. The likelihood is that Kelly's contract ended on the 31st of May, so just a few days ago now. Generally, that's what it is at the start of June, and then normally the transfer window opens on the 1st. I should have checked it. I think it's this weekend, if not next weekend, where it officially opens. Obviously, if they're not in contract, we can sign them whenever we want, but it would be unlike, it would be unlike Newcastle if we revealed it very, very early. As we've seen in previous windows, we like to take our time, you know, make sure we get the photos right, the announcement right. I think everybody's seen them in and out the stadium about 3 times before we actually announce it, so I'm not really sure. Possibly for, again, commercials. We always talk about commercials for like that big reveal with the videos. They want it to be perfect. By that point, we've all seen them, as I said, 3 times already, and we know it's already happening. And it would not surprise me if maybe some photos of Lloyd Kelly start coming out over in the next few weeks, if the reports are said to be true that we are very, very close on getting this deal done and announced, which I'm very excited about. Obviously, the flip side of that is the talk that obviously Tosin looks like he is heading off to Chelsea. He was one that I think from the very beginning, Lloyd Kelly, I think it was Eddie Howe who brought him into Bournemouth all those years ago from Bristol City for around 10 million. So he's got the connection with Eddie Howe. Newcastle were interested from the very beginning. He knows he's going to come in and get a spot in the first team. There was always that very clear-cut reason of why Newcastle were in for him and why he was coming our way. The Tosin one was a little bit different. It was always portrayed by the media that he had his options open and was willing to hear from other offers, which, in fairness, if you're on a free transfer, you want teams to come in for you and offer you more money, or offer you not even necessarily more money, but options. Who doesn't like options? Who doesn't like to go, yeah, maybe I'd go for this, maybe I'd go for that. Now, the Chelsea one does, it's got a bit of a whiff of, obviously, we didn't get European football. And then on the other side of things, he already played for Fulham, he already lives in London. Chelsea will probably pay him more wages, so in that respect, that's kind of the way it seems to have gone down. But in fairness, since day one on this channel, I've said I would be outstanding if we brought them both in. Because the players are aware of what's going on. They know how many positions we've got. We know I've got Botman to come back. We know I've got Lascelles, who's injured, who probably wouldn't come back in the squad. But really, right now, it's Botman and Shaw. Now, Lloyd Kelly's going to come in. He's going to take Botman's initial starting place. Dan Burn. Dan Burn has been really good in centre-back when he hasn't been playing left-back. So he's already got to fight. And we're going to bring Tosin in as well. We're going to have two players fighting for... So if you're coming in as a new player, you want to know you're going to walk in, you're going to have a good shot going in. You don't want to walk in and go, I'm going to have to fight off all these players, unless you're very, very sure on yourself, and maybe Tosin's looked at it and gone, Chelsea are actually... I know they've still got centre-backs as well, but the way the new manager plays, I think he's possibly going to use him from the very start, whereas we... aside everybody else, may have had some options. But yes, Lloyd Kelly, if we can get him done and over the line, that'll be great. It's clear that we're in for a goalkeeper. Reports coming out that we supposedly put in a £40 million bid for Mamadashvili, the Valencia goalkeeper. I mean, that's a fair whack of money on a goalkeeper, but you've seen it in the past. You've seen the likes of an Alisson. Liverpool paid big money for him, and it's really, really worked. Man City paid huge money for Edison. It's clear that worked. Other side of things, Chelsea paid a lot of money for Kepa and a few others that really hasn't worked. So, yes, pinch of salt, but I think Pope has been very good for us. I've got no problem with Pope being first team starter next season. It's the shoulder, and it's the injuries, and it's the fact that Dubravka really didn't stand up for himself in that number one spot, did he? So, I think a goalkeeper would be good, and I'm interested to hear about right wing and striker. But all part of that is money, and how we're going to make some, bringing in a few more deals. Newcastle have announced this morning that JD Sports will be our official retailer of the Newcastle United shirt. It's thought to be a multi-year deal. Obviously, this is all off the back of, well, we pretty much knew this was coming, didn't we? It's all off the back of our new Adidas sponsor. The temporary shop is currently outside of St James's Park, while the current shop gets a Adidas makeover, and off the back of the fact that Mike Ashley lost, or I believe it's done and dusted now, lost his complaint, court case, that he believed he should have the rights to sell the Newcastle United shirt, which I think it's fair to say quite a few Newcastle fans laughed at, and I'm not surprised. The shirt will no doubt be sold in the Newcastle shop. Newcastle are taking back the shop. It is not the Castore shop anymore. It's not the Adidas shirt shop anymore. It is the Newcastle United store. We will be selling, packing, mailing, all of the stuff. All the staff will be employed by Newcastle again. We are basically taking it all back for ourselves, which is a big move. Look, at the end of the day, I thought the Castore designs were actually decent, in terms of what the shirts were, especially compared to like Puma and what we've had previously. It wasn't Adidas. It wasn't the old days of Adidas, and that's what people wanted back. But I think generally speaking, the designs of the shirts were fine. It was the posting, and it was the quality, and it was a whole lot of other stuff. So I think Newcastle's kind of taken that back, and being in charge of it again is huge. The shop itself, I think, will not just be Newcastle shirts. It will be, as Peter Silverson joked on, a toaster with a Newcastle badge on, a watering tank with a Newcastle badge on, we are going to be able to bring in, sell, and probably make more money from it as well. But having said that, we still want to have out on a very large spider web of strings of shops, and Newcastle don't have it. Adidas will no doubt be selling it in their Adidas stores, but we needed a retailer, and we've gone for JD Sports, who I've no doubt will be paying us a pretty penny for the exclusivity to that. Now, the only thing I did mention in a previous video, and I think it had a bit of a mixed response, which I'm not surprised by, I am here to, you know, ask the questions. You guys tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. No doubt I laughed at the Mike Ashley stuff, because it's actually joke worthy. Of everything that went on with that man, for him to want to come in and sell our tops is laughable. Having said that, some of the smaller retailers in town, like Sports Fitness and stuff, as I understand it, they will be JD exclusive. So previously, what would generally happen is the club shop would sell it for, you know, 75 quid, but if you pop down to Sports Athlete, they might sell it for 65 and you've saved yourself a tenner. Now, previously, back in the day, you didn't really want to give money to the club because you didn't want to support the previous regime. This time around, it's different. I think people will probably be happy to pay JD or the club shop that extra tenner because you know that it's going to go straight into Lloyd Kelly's pocket, or hopefully some other players this summer window. But it doesn't take away from the fact that when Newcastle are going to probably sell it is, I think, probably the most expensive shirt we've ever had. There is less option to go out and try and find. People aren't going to be competing on price because there's only 2 people who are selling it. So I think it may... Positives are the club's going to get loads of money. The money will go directly to the club. The deals with JD will all come straight into us. But for you yourself going out there, you'll probably end up paying an extra 5-10 quid. And I've no doubt it will just be the home shirt. It's probably going to be the home, the away, and the third. And everyone's going to want all of them. I know I do. But I think I'll probably wait for maybe Christmas or the New Year before I get all of them, because normally the price does drop a little bit. But yes, exciting stuff to hear on Lloyd Kelly. Can't wait to see what happens next in the summer. And good to know that we're kind of getting the shirt ready now. If I'm not mistaken, it's thought the shirt is to be available very, very soon. If not, well, they said the club shop was going to be closed for a couple of weeks, and a couple of weeks, or a week, is this weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Thank you for watching, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. As I mentioned, plenty of content on the channel. I know I've been a bit of a running around a little bit today, so I'm glad I got the chance to sit down and talk to you guys about this one. So check out any future videos coming up. The shirt's very, very soon, and we'll see what happens this summer window as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.